Hey, people, this is the time. I mean, we are legitimately worth a shit this year. No doubt, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages. It's Wednesday, so get your drink and get ready for the Outsiders. And as always, we're brought to you by Poncho, ponchooutdoors.com. Go get yourself the shirts that Colt can't stop smiling about. I wore a look at Bo. Look at Bo in the long sleeve tonight, looking good. I wore a Poncho shirt to a high school graduation party last weekend, and I got multiple compliments, mainly because they always expect me to wear a T-shirt. But I think it was because of the Poncho shirt as well. It was very comfy, and I'm wearing another Poncho shirt this weekend to the graduation ceremony. So, Poncho.
Congrats on finally graduating, Chad. That's great.
Thank you very much. It finally happened. Poncho Outdoors.
It's an emeritus thing, Jason. He didn't actually graduate. It's like he made the Waxahachie Sports Hall of Fame, so they had to give him a degree, a diploma, if you will.
It's a bad look to have a non-graduate in there.
Exactly. Right. So
it's a diploma of good letters, I think is what they call that. All right, Chance Mock on the way. He's taking care of some things, being a dad and stuff. He will be jumping in here in just a moment, but let's introduce you to the other two guys real quick. We'll go ahead and start with the upper left like I always do. It's the Country Gorilla right now. Bo Edge, what are you drinking, boy?
I am drinking. I went to it. It was so good last week. I just went right back to the well. Makers and Coke Zero.
Makers.
Nice Whataburger Yeti that will make life fun.
All right. Makers and Coke Zero sounds good. All right. The man in the T formation for now is Jason Dick, and he's always drinking something weird. Jason, what do you got?
Well, I feel like I've let you guys down on this bit the last couple of weeks. Very busy moving. But I did explore what the best of Maynard gas stations have to offer. And today I came across this. Are you guys familiar with a Calypso?
Whoa. I am not.
It's a Calypso Ocean Blue Lemonade. It says here, Taste of the Islands. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure which islands. I've been to Hawaii. That's pretty great. Florida Keys. South Padre Island. I don't want to taste that. All right. I don't want to taste any part of
Galveston Island after the barge wreck today. You definitely don't want to taste it.
Whew.
It says shake well. So let's.
Oh yeah, do that. Be sure to shake it. I want to know. This ought to be a hell of a first.
Hey Jason, have you ever seen Ricky Stenicki?
I'm familiar with it, but no, I haven't watched it.
Okay, you just recreated the best thing about Ricky Stenicki right there.
Here we go. First sip.
All right, here we
go. First sip. Come on, Calypso.
All right.
Yeah.
It tastes like an ocean blue lemonade. It's pretty good, honestly.
Tastes like it was bottled when Harry Belafonte started his career.
I can feel the diabetes coming on with every sip.
Well done.
I just realized. Can y'all see this? It's for Chance Mock. The light is going to mess it up.
I can't see. What is it?
On Island Time.
On Island Time. There you go. There it is.
That's a loose interpretation of what being on time means.
I am sipping some Deep Eddy vodka tonight, gentlemen. Can you tell what flavor by the coloring?
I mean, that would.
I don't want to disparage Deep Eddy. It may just be the color of my screen.
All right, fair enough. That's peach Deep Eddy.
Oh, peach, nice.
I thought you said tea, and that's exactly where I was going with it.
Deep Eddy vodka. We've done a terrible job of selling at this point. All right, we are ready to go. As soon as Chance Mock jumps in, which he will right now. We've got the three of us. We'll talk some Texas football. We got Jason Sukamel of Orange Bloods coming up at about 8:45 to talk a little portal. The last couple guys in the portal, Texas needed something in the middle of the defensive line. They got it. They needed something at corner, and they got that too. We'll get his thoughts on it and whether or not Steve Sarkisian might be done building this 2024 team. He does have a couple spots if he needs it. First off, Bo, while we're waiting on Chance, let's talk a little baseball. Texas wins another series. They do what they do in 24, and that's get 2 out of 3. So they're in position for a pretty good finish. Where are we right now with Texas baseball? How you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good. Like, I think this is this a team that I think is going to go to Omaha and do a lot of damage? No, I don't. But it's a team that's fun to watch. It's a team that's fighting its ass off. Like, it doesn't matter. You said the 2 or 3. Well, you know what? You know what it takes? 2 and 3 in a super regional gets you to Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Going 2 and 3 backed up by another 2 and 3 if it's the right two. So if you went 4 and 1, you get out of a regional. Like if you play it right, 2 and 3 can get you to Omaha. And if this team makes it to Omaha, I'd be tremendously impressed. Now, one of the things that came out today, which tells me that everything we've talked about with David Pierce and setting things up for the end, not for the beginning, they think they're in. They're sitting Ace Whitehead this weekend. Not for injury. They came out. Hell, Ace's mom was the one that was on the internet saying they told Ace that he was starting game 1 of the Big 12 tournament and they wanted his arm rested. Because the Big 12 tournament starts on Tuesday. And so then if they win the Tuesday game, they get a Wednesday off. So they basically have started setting their rotation how they want it to be for a tournament run and then a regional run. That's the mindset of someone who's actually been to championships before, who has won conferences, who has won conference tournaments, and who has been to Omaha in various iterations. He's setting this team up to make a run. Will they or will they not? I don't know yet. They can hit. And the best part is where they're projected to go now, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the start for your brethren, or for Longhorn fans, because your Aggie baseball team is actually really damn good. Mm-hmm. But this D1 that Kendall Rogers run has Texas playing as the 2 seed in the College Station Regional.
Yeah, and it should happen if it makes numerical sense and it's even close. You got to do it. You got to do it, especially when they're getting back together in the SEC anyway. That would be fantastic. A fantastic idea. All right, we got chats coming in. We got folks getting in. We also have Chance Mock trying to get stuff ready. Chance, are we ready to roll over there? Can you hear me, brother? Yeah, okay. He says he's good. There it is. Okay, let's give it a shot, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if the Mock 5 is ready to go. How are you,
he
sir?
gets demoted to the local wrong. He's got to.
No,
he's been relegated like European soccer. He's got to climb his way back out of the doldrums.
He also he moved his ceiling fan to the other side.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't figured out how to flip my camera.
Yeah, we got to flip the screen. We got to get that
Push
done.
the settings. And
hang on.
There we go.
Much better way to see Chance Mock. Right?
Professional production, ladies and gentlemen.
Now we went black and white. I mean, all black.
No, we just went all black.
Yeah, just black. That's just black. That's not good.
Then we lost him.
Okay, now he's going to try. No, hang on.
Shut your mouths when you're talking to me.
Yes. Did your camera drink a Four Loko this time?
All right, we'll take Chance off until he figures that out.
Can I comment on the UT baseball? What is all this uncertainty? Maybe a 2 seed. I was ass deep in prep today, guys, and I looked up the top 25. It said number 1 UT. All right, there was a guy with an orange hat pitching. We're number 1, right? What are you talking about?
Wrong orange. That's creamsicle volunteer orange.
Oh, that's
yeah.
The color settings on my computer.
Now, there is a former Longhorn who is at the projected number 1 spot, and that's Mitchell Daly, our old second baseman who plays for Kentucky now. But no, Texas.
I believe, though, is it 5 straight series wins in the Big 12 for the Longhorns, which is pretty tough to pull off.
9 out of 10 series wins, or 8 out of 9 series wins.
And I haven't seen him pitch, so help me with the pronunciation. But Gage Boehm, is that right? Gage Boehm?
Bame.
Oh, that's even better. All right.
Yes.
You are destined to be a Major League Baseball closer when you're named Gage Boehm.
Real quick, I've got to give people a peek into this. Look at what is happening. Look at what is going. Okay, we're back out.
Is that the NFL schedule release party?
I don't know what's going on over there. We're going to get that figured out. We will talk some NFL schedules if we have time this evening as well. You know what? While we're waiting on Chance, gentlemen, let's just go ahead and we'll get to some of these chats, but also let's give our great partners their love, and we will start with the good folks at Prosperity Roofing. It's one of our favorite spots. Here it comes.
Mine looked like that.
Inappropriate. I don't know what the big deal is. Mine used to look like that.
Is your new roof what everyone's talking about? A new roof from Prosperity Roofing will certainly draw some attention.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Everything important in your life happens under your roof. Let Prosperity Roofing transform your home into something to talk about.
And Bo, it also gets their attention when hail hits their roof. Prosperity can help with that as well.
Yeah, it's been a bad couple months in Central Texas with the storms and the hail. We need rain. We don't need hail. We don't need damage to roofs. But if it happens, and it can, Prosperity Roofing gives you the peace of mind. Don't let the door knockers trick you, con you, make you think that you have a 10-year warranty when they only bought stuff that has a 1-year warranty. And by the time you need something, they're gone. 810-1747. Shingle, tile, standing seam metal, whatever you need, Prosperity can take care of it, just like they take care of the communities that they're a part of, and they give you the peace of mind. It's Prosperity Roofing.
Yes, indeed. Thanks to Prosperity for all that they do. And I was just about to do a big presentation, but we're not quite ready yet. Although the people are ready. Morgan says ceiling fan. Ceiling fan.
We think that it's a chance they want, or just his fan at this point.
They want to see the fan. I think we can show them the fan, ladies and gentlemen. I think Chance Mock is ready to go. There he is.
I refuse to participate until I take my rightful spot on the screen.
You've been relegated.
I don't get relegated, Bo.
Chance,
that's not how this works.
Chance, if you can figure out how to flip that screen, I'll put you up top.
I can't.
That's the deal.
It's 2 clicks.
You don't understand. I'm on my phone. My computer will not turn on.
Oh, he's on the phone. Okay, yeah, I don't have. I can't. All right, fair enough.
Only because
I don't want a mad Chance Mock. That's not what I'm in for. I'm not in this for a mad Chance Mock. We can't do that.
I mean, I respect the buzzball, but after your performance last week with the Four Loco, you had to spend a little time in the dungeon.
Bro, that Four Loco is the worst thing I've ever had in my life. The one thing I will take out of last week is that I'm never drinking a Four Loco again in my life.
Chance,
I told y'all the same thing after that damn Warhead one. It was awful.
So what do you got?
Now the America one, it wasn't bad. Like I could drink another America one, but not that. Oh.
So what do you have tonight, Chance? Pina colada there? Did I see that right?
So I can't flip my camera, but it's actually called horchata.
Oh, okay.
And it's, like apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a word in several countries, actually.
Fair enough. Chris Bennett says hello to the ceiling fan tonight as well. And we thank everybody for jumping in the Specs chat. We were not up to didn't get that up or quick enough. That's my bad. Morgan, yes, ceiling fan is there. Ceiling fan is there. You see it? See it back there? Let's give you a quick let's go in tight. Ceiling fan is there, even though backwards. Yeah. Ceiling fan is there.
I'm just waiting for the Twitter account called Chance Mock Ceiling Fan to take over social media buzz.
Yeah, it'll be there.
It'll be there as soon as Bo gets on that.
Also,
I'm not getting on shit.
Also, people wondering, where does Bear Dick find these drinks? That sounds good. Let's go. Bear Dick. Roar! That's right. That's right. Right there. There he is. Bear Dick and his moon mist, everybody.
You have to go to the most unreputable gas station you can find, and then say to the clerk, "Hey, secret handshake," and then he takes you in the back, and then that's where you find the Calypso. Okay,
that is it. That is
like a John Wick episode where you gotta go through the hotel and they get you suited up and everything.
Or do you flip them the coin when you come in?
Yeah, except for instead of a coin, it's like a used paper clip because you're in Manor.
Gentlemen, I can see here over on the side that our guest is ready to go, and I don't know if it's a good sign when the guest sees and hears something and then just takes a big swig like, oh, dear God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But before we bring him on, let's remind everybody, if we got a great interview, it is brought to you by Last Stand Hats. The True Fans brand. We got 12 different kinds of Outsiders hats. So if you want that classic white, you got it. I got one of those in here. Bo's got some. We've all got the hats. You got different designs, the gray and the black and the orange and everything. Got the Occupy Left Field stuff. All gas, no brakes, DBU, all kinds of different stuff. And some other schools that are represented, even if you're not a Texas fan. Go check them out at Last Stand. Just scan that QR code. They bring us all the great guests, and it's the first appearance tonight of the one and only Jason Sukamel of Orange Bloods. We're going to put it – wait a minute. I was going to put him in the center on the 5. Where did Chance go?
Hi, Chance.
Where did he go? I don't know what just happened. What are we doing? Where are we putting Jason? Jason Sukamel, how are you, brother?
Damn, I didn't realize Chance disliked me so much, man. What's up?
Hey, Mac, Mac taught him to run from the media as much as possible, don't you?
Yeah, Chance was one of the ones who was smart enough to not listen. I thought I was going to beat Chance onto the show. I was watching you guys before I came in, but almost showed up at the same time. So
yeah, I know.
Every week is a new adventure here on the Outsiders, Jason.
Sure seems like it. Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes the technical stuff is tough. So first and most importantly, Jason, what are you drinking on a What Are You Drinking Wednesday?
I have a refrigerator full of Coors Lights as I take it out of my koozie there. And I might drink every one of them because I don't know if you saw it. I've been working on this recruiting board, which people in Orange Bloods are familiar. If you're not, it's a pain in the ass. It's putting guys on, taking guys off, moving them around. It's a multi-day process. And I went to save it, and I got a 502 or whatever bad gateway error. So I lost all my work from tonight. So I might go ahead and just clean that fridge out tonight. So you probably won't see me on Orange Bloods early tomorrow morning.
Hey, that's cool. If we see you start to shotgun a Coors Light, we will understand.
Yeah. Look, I'm ready, brother. I brought a cooler with me right here. So let's do it.
There you go.
Hey, Jason. No, what you do is you drink the Coors Lights and make a recruiting board that you put up about 3 a.m.
Oh, man, that'd be an adventure.
Yeah. Let the crazies go, oh, my God, what is – whoever fill in blank CJ Stroud doing on the list.
Yeah, I'll put them all at 95% for coming to Texas just to get people fired up. And Bo, when you and I were texting this morning, Wednesday's always an adventure, man. My daughter always works on Wednesday, so I'm supposed to pick her up at 9:45-ish. But my son is home from college. He just got home last week. My teenage daughter has her license. So little do they know one of those two will be picking up my other daughter from her job tonight.
There you go.
That ain't doing it. So
let's bring Chance back in. So everybody thinks he wasn't running from the media. There's Chance Mock.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody in their normal places here so I feel better. Chance, we just want everybody to know you did not run from the media. You were just getting it all set up. Nope, and I can't hear you now. No?
Well, it's good to see you anyways, Chance. Been a long time, dude. So.
Oh, no. There we go. We thought we had it. Chance is the silent part. Do we just leave Chance, the silent partner,
maybe
in the corner?
What's up,
Jason,
brother?
do you read lips? We'll just let Chance ask his question and then you answer.
Yeah, no, I don't read. That would be a disaster. Yeah, exactly. Let's charades it. Yeah. So.
Oh my God, Chance is going to start signaling in plays.
Like I have a vivid memory. This is so weird, and this will mean nothing to Chance. But Chance was one of my first recruits I covered. Man, I've been doing this a long time, and I remember I was working. This is very random, I know. I was working at the Bastrop Advertiser, my first journalism job out of college, and I remember sitting in my boss's office doing an interview with Chance Mock. I don't know why that memory sticks in my head, but Chance was always awesome to deal with. Yeah. So tonight, not so much. Not so much.
This is the best. Bo would tell you this is his favorite version of Chance.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
This is my best friend Chance right here. Silent great.
That is terrible. That is terrible. All right, Chance, I will leave it up to you. If you would like to stay up in the Marcel Marceau box, you can do that. Or if you'd like to take yourself out, you can do that. Your choice. Jace, wait, waving himself out. You want out? You done? No. He says out. Okay, he's out. He's done. He may jump back in if he can. Jason, let's talk a little portal here. These last couple guys that Texas got, they needed interior D-line. They needed corner after Terrence Brooks jumps in the portal, and D-line they've just kind of needed. Coach Sark laid that out after the spring game. So Javion Cole, the guy that was at San Jose State, is the corner that they get. And then Jermaine Lole, the big D tackle that was at Louisville, before that Florida State. He's the other guy. Give me your thoughts on these last two additions for Sark.
Yeah, I think he was at Arizona State and then Louisville before.
I'm sorry, Arizona State. Yeah. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. My thoughts are they fill big needs. I mean, listen, when Sark comes out of spring saying we need D-line help, that's, coaches usually don't say that openly. So that was a pretty good indication that they'd already brought in two, but they still needed more help there. Quarterback, I was looking at it. Obviously, they lose Terrence Brooks. They lost Austin Jordan. They've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 defensive backs to the portal in the December window and the spring window. So that's crazy. So, they needed someone to possibly step in as a starter besides Manny Muhammad. So they go out, they get Javion Cole, who I think is a pretty good player. I mean, we'll see. Is at San Jose State. Before that, he was at Cal Poly. But this is a dude, like, you look at his stats, and every time you look up, it's like, okay, he's getting his hands on the football. He's making interceptions. He's PBUs. He's played well, at those smaller classifications. Let's see how he does to the jump to the Big 12. The defensive tackle there, Jermaine, it's Lole. Is that how you say it? I don't even.
Lole.
Right?
Yep.
That guy's new to me. I'll be honest with you, because as you know, Chad, I was in Vegas last week on vacation when that thing started to break. So I'm kind of doing some research on my phone last week from Vegas, but pretty interesting prospect. He's from Long Beach Poly, okay, out in Cali, powerhouse program. Goes to Arizona State. Actually recruited by Antonio Pierce, who's now the Raiders head coach, but goes to Arizona State and plays a couple years there and is very productive. 2018, his freshman year, 2019, his second season, 71 tackles, 6.5 sacks. He then goes to Louisville, and he basically misses. He plays 1 year, then he misses a couple years due to injury, so he gets a medical redshirt year. So I don't know a ton about him, but he's been pretty productive when he's played, when he's been healthy. Is he going to come in and be a frontline starter for Texas? I don't know about that. I mean, we got Alfred Collins, and to me, it seems like just a bunch of bodies. So which one of those guys is going to step up to the forefront and maybe take command of that second position? I don't know. But these guys both definitely fit need positions. Now, are they going to be plus players? I don't know the answer to that yet.
All right. I think the Mock 5 might have got it figured out, boys. Let's give him another shot. Chance Mock, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Say some words.
Can you hear me?
Hey, it's not just sign language, Chance.
Very good. Very good. All right. There it is. Now, this is hang on one second. No, we got to give the guests these. There we go.
There we go.
Throw the guest in the center there. Make sure everybody knows where Jason Sukumel is. Okay. So some thoughts there on the portal, guys. Chance, now that you're with us, you've had a lot to process and digest. What would you like to throw at Jason here?
Oh, Jesus. You just want to throw me in the fire as soon as I get here? This feels like 2003 when I get called off the bench and I was putting a dip in, and they're like, hey, go beat Tech for us real quick. I was busy putting a dip in for Christ's sake.
You did it. Do it again.
Chance, I was there. Chance, I was there that night, and it worked. So I'm just thinking, let's panic and go to 5. And it'll happen.
Panic and go to 5. 5's always good.
Did the dip go in and you go play with it in, or did you throw it out?
Oh, no, it stayed in. Like, we're not – I was a broke college. We didn't have NIL, Bo. I was having to alternate which month I paid my electric, my water, and my gas bill so that I could make sure they all stayed on at one time, okay? This is how the world was before NIL. And by God, if you went to dinner and some alumni said, I want to buy that cheeseburger for you, boy, you were in trouble. But Mac Brown could have somebody buy him a $300 steak at Ruth's Chris. Meanwhile, he's making $5 million a year. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I'm just saying. That's just me. Jason, it's good to see you, brother. It's been a while.
You too, my man. Been a long time, dude.
Hey, so I want to ask you, because you're deeply entrenched in this stuff, and this is one of those things I've talked about, is when you talk to recruits and the way that they're being recruited, to me, it now seems like the formula for a winning program is to land 4, 5, 6 really good guys that can stay in your program. Then you've got this problem of keeping the good guys you want in your program. Texas doesn't have the same problem a lot of schools have because they have the money to keep those guys. But are these high school kids, are these younger guys, are they feeling that pressure? I think you build a good program by having your studs coming in, keeping the guys you have, and then backfilling. Go to the transfer portal. Find guys that have already proven they can play at this level, because how many times we've seen misses, guys that dominate in high school, they get to college, they can't keep up, or they're content, and so they become lazy and they don't work as hard or whatever. There's a lot of different stuff. But I think that's the program. Are these high school kids feeling that crunch right now?
I don't know if they're feeling the crunch. I don't know that a lot of these high school kids think past the next month, much less a year or 2 years down the road. But I tend to agree with you. To me, and Ketch and I have argued about this, but I think the foundation of a championship program is built overwhelmingly on high school recruiting. I just do. You can go out and, like you said, Chance, you get 5, 6 contributors from the portal. But to me, you've got to be able to recruit the high school level at an elite level, the way Georgia's done it, and Ohio State and Alabama, and the way Texas is starting to do it the last few years, if you want to consistently be in that mix. And then, then you find holes on your roster, like at cornerback or defensive line, or you need a tight end. You go out and find someone that's capable of coming in and helping you. But, for the most part, your true headline starters on your program, they're not entering the portal. Those guys are either playing or they're going pro, right? So to me, portal guys are more about managing holes. And, are you going to get, Quinn Ewers being the exception, obviously, but are you going to get frontline, high-end, all-American type players out of the portal? Occasionally, but I think that's rare. But to answer your question, I've never talked to, I talked to a lot of recruits, but I've never had anybody mention the portal. The only thing we've kind of heard is that guys are watching that. If they go to school and they're a freshman or whatever at Texas or any other school for that matter, and they thinking their time's coming maybe next year, and then the school goes in the portal and grabs a bunch of guys that might be in front of them on the depth chart, well, that's going to piss guys off potentially. So it's a weird balancing act. I mean, this stuff's still pretty new. I think coaches are still trying to figure it out. But like you said, I think Texas has a pretty good handle on things. They've been able to keep their guys, the guys they want to keep. They've been able to keep them on the roster. Obviously, Texas has a lot to offer in terms of academics, City of Austin, NIL, things of that nature. So Texas doesn't struggle with it quite the way some other schools probably do and will. But, it'll be an interesting thing to follow over the next 2, 3, 4 years to see just how patient are some of these young guys going to be. I mean,
but do you feel like, because I feel like NIL's become the NFL's version of free agency, right? Mm-hmm. You have your guys, the guys that you want to start, and then you find your holes and you go backfill with it. At the same time, the only thing that I don't want to say disagree, because that's not a fair statement. But the only thing that I would question is, I look at Adonai Mitchell, guy, national champion at Georgia. That's a headliner that you're able to get out of the portal. And there are those guys that, we have within our program. Let's say we were a smaller program that does lose people, an SMU, right? You look at what Jalen Ford, when he came in, he was not this hugely, massively recruited guy, developed into a stud. That's one of those guys, so I look at those guys. Maybe they weren't you go after the big 4s and 5s as a team, and you recruit those guys. And those are your foundation, like you said. But then at the same time, you're not messing with these 2 and 3 stars because they can go to another program, develop themselves. You build that relationship, you build the rapport that in 2 years, when they are a stud and they're at SMU, you can pick up the phone and go, hey, Coach Sark, man, how you been? How'd you like to come make a couple $100,000 and play at Texas? We'd love to have you.
You don't have to take the risk on some of those guys. Let the other schools take the risk. Right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And I should say, Adonai, he was a unique situation. Obviously, wanted to get closer home to his daughter, Isaiah Bond. Last year was kind of weird because Saban retires, and it's kind of this just trickle down effect to Washington and then Arizona. So you have some pretty decent starters that all wanted to leave. So anytime there's a coaching shakeup, that certainly throws everything into chaos. But you're right. It makes sense what you're saying. Hey, let's not reach for this guy that we think might be good, but he might be a bit of a 2 or 3 year project, right? Developmental project. Let's let him go to SMU or even the Baylors of the world or Oklahoma States now. And then, if you're a school like Texas, you can if they pan out, you can probably go in and potentially cherry pick a lot of those guys if you maintain good relationships.
Yeah, you could poach them at one point, but the other thing to think about, which is it's weird in this whole NIL deal is weird to me. It's a whole brave new world. I hate to use the word reach, but right now scholarships, the number of scholarships on campus is going down. You don't have the room to make the reaches you used to be able to do and go, hey, this guy could pan out to be, you find the lineman that's at Liberty Hill that's 6'6" and only 275, great feet, huge shoulders, big hands and feet, but hasn't filled out. And you're like, man, we can't do anything with him right now, but you keep that relationship. He goes to somewhere else. Next thing you know, he's 325, and you're like, all right, big dog, like, where you at? What can we do for you? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a weird balance, especially you've got the NIL stuff that we're dealing with, and then you're going to now compound it with you're going to cut scholarships on the football side.
Well, Chance, and I was going to ask Jason this. That's why I jumped in there. I think the position you mentioned is the one outlier. The line, offense and defensive line, because you need bodies. You need enough depth at those positions to practice hard. That's where you, in my opinion, and Jason, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, that's the one area, offense and defensive line, where you can take a reach on a 3-star or a 2-star guy to get him into your weight program, to work him with your coach. You don't have time to do that with skill position players or defensive backs. But that seems like the position where even Texas, with the guy they took this week, Jackson Christian, like that's what they're doing. You can still take a couple chances because you need depth in the positions.
I want to hear you answer, Jason, but we have finally found something that Bo and I are. I mean, we're normally pretty similar in what we're thinking, except for when we're talking about the Bills and the Titans because the Titans suck. But we're a complete opposite. So I want to hear your take on this because I completely 1,000% disagree with Bo on this.
Well, offensive line at Texas to me is interesting because if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm going to Texas and they've got that Pancake Factory deal, which I think is still going on, I'm getting $50K a year. You're going to have to drag me out of that lineup or off of that roster kicking and screaming. I'll sit there and collect my $250K and get my degree at Texas. No, I mean, I would be curious to hear your take if you strongly disagree. I think most offensive linemen in particular are willing to be a little bit more patient. We've seen it at Texas. They took this massive class a couple years ago. I thought for sure a lot of those guys would be transferring out, but they've all stayed the course. Now, how much longer is that going to be the case? I don't know. But I think offensive linemen more than defensive linemen probably understand, hey, especially when you've got a loaded roster like Texas has, a veteran offensive line in front of them, most of those guys are willing to wait a year or two. Trevor Goosby is a good example. You mentioned Chance. And Texas doesn't do this a lot anymore. They used to back in the Mac McWhorter days, and they would take the 260-pound guy that would try to fill out his frame. But Trevor Goosby is a guy, he's come in and he's put his time in and his frame is filled out. He's added 40 pounds. And he's kind of been patient sitting behind Kelvin Banks, and maybe he'll have a chance to be the guy next year. I think an offensive line, you'll probably see a little bit more patience. Defensive linemen, not so much. Those guys, they're maybe not quite the same as skill players, the wide receivers, the DBs that want to come in and play year one. But I think a lot of those defensive linemen feel that they're capable of that. Maybe they won't be quite as patient as the offensive linemen in terms of hanging around for a couple years before they get their shot.
This is The Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. Jason Sukamel of Orange Bloods is our guest tonight. We will continue with the question and answer, of course. But first, let's thank one of our great partners. And Chance, this one is close to your heart, I know, and it is Arch Public. Tell the people about it.
That's right, Arch Public. I just got a ton of information from them. Actually, we did a trade today. It was pretty spectacular. It was only an 18% return on one day, which is, I don't know if anybody's interested in that kind of return, but that's what we got today. And it's only going to take maybe 5, maybe 6 trades during the entire month. But what it is they have taken basically algorithms and bots and turned them into trading. And they hook it into your account, and it's your account. It's not money that you're putting into a pot. It is your account, withdrawable at any time. It's high-frequency trading. And what it's doing is it's reading the market right now. Our buddy Tillman Holloway, one of my offensive linemen, some of you old school Texas people might remember his grandfather, Bud McFarland, who was an All-American. He's one of the Texas greats. Well, Tillman has taken and turned this thing into an absolute monster. And it's awesome. You get the app on your phone. You put the money in. Their sweet spot is really right at $10,000. It costs you $99 a month, and you get this service where you put your money in there, and all you do is you open the app every morning, see if they took the trade or not. And when they take the trade, then you're going to see how much money you make. They are winning over 63% of the time over the last 6 years. We do not push people to invest in anything unless they know exactly what they're getting into. But we do ask, go look at this website. If you're interested, hit us up. I'll hook you up with Tillman Holloway himself. He can talk through it, see if it's right for you, because I'm telling you, it's incredible. There's a $50,000 account that we started, I want to say in August, and we've already made $37,000 on that $50,000. So that accounts at $87,000 right now and growing. That's compounding. You can scrape your funds at the end of the month if you need cash flow, or if you just want to let it grow, let it grow. Check them out. Arch Public. All you got to do is scan that QR code right there. You'll get hooked up. You can get hooked up with Tillman Holloway himself. The dude is fascinating. His life story is incredible. We do have a podcast that we're going to be kind of piling on to this one. We're just going to talk to athletes and see what they're doing in their past life, because I think if you hear Tillman's story, his daughter went through some stuff. And as a father, there's a lot of people out there that are fathers. It'll absolutely break your heart, but it'll make you understand why Tillman is who he is. When you go through things, it kind of changes the person you are. And Tillman he is a man on the mission. Arch Public, scan that QR code and check it out. You will not be disappointed.
It is The Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. All right, Jason Dick, do you have a question for Jason Sukamel?
Of course. First, I want to point out.
Jason, one second. Hold. I love your hat, by the way.
Oh.
Because I just real quick to Bo's, what Bo was saying. I hate these cameras. Anyway,
we know which one's Bo.
Yeah, well, some people don't. But anyway, the only reason I would disagree with you, Bo, is I think in my time at Texas and in my time following Texas football, I have not seen any position miss more than offensive line. That is one of those where guys dominate in high school and they get to college and they can't keep up, which is why I think that's one of those positions you let other schools develop and find. Let me rephrase that. You get the guys that you know are going to be good, the guys that are going to come in and contribute. And so that's where our differential is. I think it's a hard position to gauge in high school. You can see a big body and they look good because they just bully people in high school. They get to college against guys that are just as big and strong and fast. And then next thing you know, they're getting beat. I mean, I can think of 3 in my class right now that never saw the field.
Chance, I'm not arguing with that point. What I was saying, and then we can let Jason ask Jason his question, was if you're going to take a flyer on a guy, there's much more likelihood of an offensive lineman staying in the program for 2 or 3 years because he knows he needs to put on 40, 50 pounds and learn how complicated blitz schemes and pickups work. If he's a kid from a 3A high school that was just told run over that dude, and he did it at a very high level and went to some camps and bench strong and jumped strong and ran strong, those that are smart enough and want to get to the league know they got to put time in with professional coaches and get better at their craft. A wide receiver diva thinks he should be on the field from the moment he gets on campus. And I don't care whether it's a 1A kid, a 5A kid. If they're a 4 or 5 star, they think they're an alpha. And same at running back, same at defensive back. In most cases, same at quarterback. Those skill positions, if they don't start in day 1 or year 1, by year 2, they're already looking to hit eject. Linemen have a little more patience in that regard.
Fair. But which ones miss? Which 5 stars miss the most?
Judging by all the defensive backs that left, and I consider all of them misses at this point, they all miss.
But they didn't
there is no guaranteed hit rate. If you hit half a class, Jason, tell me this, if you hit in a class of 25, if half of that class ends up becoming a draftable player, that was a win for a class. If half the class.
That's huge.
If half
that would be a monster class.
Player, if half the class is a draftable player, Bo, then you're Alabama for the last 10 years.
You're winning national championships with that.
That's where we hope Texas is going.
No, a realistic way to look at it is if you get 2 or 3 draft picks out of one class, 2 or 3, that's a good class. You're talking about the National Football League. Bo got elevated.
They just put me and Chad down here so we can just chill out. We're just gonna.
All right. Jason and I are going to look at the Cowboys schedule. Y'all go ahead.
Jason, go ahead.
I just want to point out that Chad threw it to Chance, and Chance was like, "I'm not ready," and then monopolized the program for 20 minutes. That's great. No, it's fine.
I turned into Jeff Ketchum for a minute.
I'm just here to do jokes, and so let me ask my joke question real quick, and then the adults can talk again. Hi, Jason. Thanks for being on the show. Great name. I'm a bad Longhorn fan, bad commentator, and certainly bad representative of this website because I don't care so very much about recruiting. I'm, when they're on the 40 acres and scoring touchdowns, I will cheer my ass off for them. but I just think it's weird every time we turn the keys of the city over to a 17-year-old. I know that's exactly the opposite of how you operate and how, people who are into this think.
No. We're not. Hey, the older I get, sometimes the more jaded I get. So we're not too far off, Jason. Yeah.
My question, which I've always sort of wondered, is at what age do these guys sort of get on your radar, on the university's radar? How young does it go? Are you looking at any fifth graders right now?
Not fifth graders. It's a good question. I would say the youngest for me, and listen, I don't interview these dudes, but I mean, there's some freshmen in high school. We've talked about Booby Feaster. Chad and I have quite a bit. I mean, Booby was on the radar when he was in 8th grade up at DeSoto, and he's going to be a big-time national. He is a big-time national player. He's only a freshman, but they don't really get on my radar until they're on UT's radar. People ask me all the time about this kid or this kid or this kid in Central Texas. I'm like, dude, if Texas isn't recruiting them, I've only got so much brain space up here, right? So I don't worry about them until Texas starts recruiting them. But I would say the earliest is probably maybe roughly their freshman year of high school. But I mean, every once in a while you'll see some middle schoolers that'll, show up on Twitter and make headlines because they picked up an offer, which is crazy to me. And listen, man, I'm 51 years old. And I always say there's only so much teenage ass I can kiss. All right. So, I mean, I try to cover them professionally, but I'm not going to. These guys nowadays, with Twitter, I mean, they're celebrities, or they think they're celebrities a lot of times before, they're 16 years old. Now, I'm pretty lucky that Texas actually recruits, for the most part. Texas recruits pretty good kids. So, I get to cover, for the most part, pretty good kids. But yeah, I mean, I would say 8th grade freshman year. I've interviewed a couple of freshmen this year, Booby Feaster being the main one. But I would say mostly sophomore and junior years when I really kind of dive into things.
So we know Jason hasn't recruited or hasn't talked to Baby Gronk yet. Is that what we're?
No, I have not talked to Baby Gronk yet.
So I'm gonna throw a name out there since you brought it up, Jason. Great question. I'm gonna throw a name out there. It's a guy that I coached against when he was in 6th grade, and my son played against him, and they've become friends, which is really kind of funny. He's from Brenham, and apparently Texas is on the radar. That's Jacoby Dixon. Do you know anything about Jacoby?
No, I don't think he's visited or anything. If he hadn't visited, he's probably not on my radar. So
he's on their radar. He's
what
not
class
on
is he, Chance?
He's a freshman at Brenham.
Okay, freshman. Yeah,
he played this year, and you should do some research on him because he is going to be a stud. And this is why I know, because when you're in 6th grade and you score pretty much every time you touch the football, you're a pretty big deal. And my son at that time was just a little 5th grader, and he actually came up to him. And then, we went and watched him play a game, and his quarterback fumbled the ball. And the guy is running. The quarterback had a long run. He fumbles the ball. The guy picks it up. He's running the opposite way. Jacoby runs him down from 40 yards behind, strips the ball from him, picks it up, and then goes 96 yards to score a touchdown on his own. And I was like, ooh. Like, this kid's, it's special, right? Like, it was one of those, when we saw the interception against TCU, and then all of a sudden you get the hustle play that caused the fumble, except if he'd have picked the ball up and then made 15 guys miss and go score, is basically what it was.
You'll see those dudes every once in a while. You're like, okay, that dude,
special.
Yeah, he's special. He's going to be different. I mean, they're just men among boys, especially at that age. There's a pretty big discrepancy sometimes in, middle schoolers, 8th graders, and freshmen and whatever. But yeah, and in Booby Feaster, I keep bringing that name up. But listen, if you're a freshman starting at DeSoto, that tells you something, right? And I mean, I've seen that dude. He looks like he's a senior in high school that's been in a weight program for 3 years. So freakish player. But you don't have to look. I think Texas only offered a handful of kids that age, like a very small handful. But no, I'll keep an eye on that kid. But he's from Brenham. You said Brenham.
Yeah, he's a Brenham kid.
Okay.
But Jason, wouldn't there be a commonality of those ones that are being recruited much earlier? Typically, they have a background or a lineage in football or high-end athletics. And it's because of that, like one of the recruits that I read about on Orange Buzz is Chris Henry Jr., who's committed to Ohio State, but, is now potentially looking at other options. Well, Chris Henry Sr. was an NFL wide receiver. He's being raised by Pac-Man Jones. There's a much higher likelihood that a kid like Chris Henry Jr. is going to be looked at when he's 13, 14, 15, because the the pedigree is there. You know, Chance, for an example, like Chance's father was an all Southwest Conference linebacker. You know, like when you know there's a football lineage to a family, then you might take a stronger look at a kid early, you know, because of that. Is there a direct correlation between the parents' background and the kid when they're getting recruited real early?
Well, that certainly helps put them on the radar. And I think it probably, you know, if I'm a coach making that evaluation, you feel a little bit safer with that bet. Like, okay, we know this kid's got it in his bloodlines and he's probably going to be a pretty good player. But I think there's probably some truth to that, Bo. But also, these kids now have specialized trainers, right? And these college coaches know these trainers. So if a kid's working out, like the young man Chance is talking about from Brenham, if he's working out with a trainer who knows someone on the Texas staff, yeah, that's going to put him on the Texas radar. So, I mean, you know, Booby Feaster, there's a lot of wide receiver trainers up in the DFW area who, you know, they know coaching staffs all over the place. So certainly if you got a big family name, yeah, if you're a son of a former player, or maybe a player played at the University of Texas, obviously that's going to help. Also, if you're working out with a personal trainer, that guy's going to take you down to campus. He's going to take you down on unofficial visits. He's going to take you down to summer camps. And, you know, there's a lot of ways to get on the radar for this.
Well, I've mentioned it on the show before. Actually, two of my cousins played offensive line for Nebraska for a 9-year stretch. Well, his oldest son, Scott Frost, offered when he was in 8th grade because he was already 200 and something pounds. He was built like a brick, and he was like, this kid is going to be a lineman at Nebraska, just like his dad, just like his uncle. It didn't work out because in freshman year in high school, he was 6'1", 225 pounds, and looked like he was going to be the nose guard or offensive lineman of the future. He worked out hard. He did everything great. He ended up being 6'2", 275 pounds, first team All-State, but he was never going to get bigger than 275. So he's playing Division III at Augustana College because he could wrestle there too. He was never going to be big enough to compete at a Division I level at a, you know, Power 5 type. He couldn't put on weight. So even then, you know, it didn't work out. But like, that's why he got the offer, was because Scott knew Rob. He was like, yeah, I know your son's going to work hard. I know he's going to be a lineman.
Well, the other thing is, if you offer a kid when he's in 8th grade or whatever, he's not going to commit, right? So, you know, if you kind of keep them warm for a couple of years, and if they don't develop and if you keep progressing the way you thought they might, then you just kind of can pull back on them and they get the point. Hey, Chance, I got to correct myself. I was like, Jacoby, I know that name, but Texas did offer him. They offered him a couple weeks ago is all. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely on. He's one of about.
I just sent you a video, Jason. I just sent you his highlights. Okay. And you're going to watch this kid. I'm just telling you, you're going to watch the highlight film and you're going to go, no fucking way this kid is a freshman. I mean, the
he's
way
one of about only a dozen that they've offered in that freshman group. So, yeah. I will not be interviewing him until he's at least a sophomore or junior. Okay?
You can make us that promise.
We know a guy that can get you his number, though, and it's not Chance. It's the younger Mock. It's Cash Mock.
It's Cash. It's not me.
All right, so we know Jason's probably got the normal work to do, and as we've heard, he's got some extra work to do as well. Before we let him go, gentlemen, anybody else got anything for Jason Sukumel?
I have one question, because Jason is kind of a recruiting guru when it comes to NIL and all these different things. I read a story about the kid from Colorado, I think his name's Cormac McLean, who is now transferring to Florida. Florida had hit their 85 and couldn't offer him a scholarship. They're giving him a PWO and allowing NIL to fill in the gap. Is that going to be the wave of the future where there is no 85 scholarship anymore because NIL can supersede that and kids will just walk on wherever and get paid $500,000 and then just have to pay for the school out of their own pocket? Is that the wave of the future?
You know, I hadn't even read that, and honestly, that's fascinating to me. As soon as I'm off, I want to go read up on that. See, I've had that question asked to me, and this is my fault for listening to Catch, but Catch said no. Once they play, they have to be on scholarship, because I was like, that would be an easy way to circumvent scholarship limits, right? You just pay a dude a boatload of NIL money and just say, okay, pay your own way, or we'll have somebody pay your tuition for you. That's got to be, boy, that's a slippery slope if that's right. I mean, maybe
Ajay Hall just did the same thing. The kid that left Texas, that's been everywhere, he took a PWO, and I can't even think the school. It's not a good school, but he took a PWO because they were scholarshiped out, Now,
but maybe you do that, and then they process somebody this summer, and then they put them on scholarship. I have a hard time. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. Again, I've been asked this question, and I don't know the rule. I mean, I'm listening to what Ketch has said, is that once they play, they've got to be on scholarship. So maybe they've got a little bit of a buffer this summer, and then somebody else transfers out, a grad transfer or something leaves, or somebody quits football, that frees up. But I would think they've got to put them on scholarship. Otherwise, that's a really slippery slope.
The question, Jason, would be, does it transfer schools with the guy? Like, based on what Ketch would be thinking, is it if I play at school X, then I can't then be a walk-on at school X. But if I go to a different school, do I start all over, and I could start as a walk-on?
Well, obviously, I guess you can start as a walk-on, but my understanding, and again, I've looked and I just can't find it. I need to email someone at the NCAA. It's a really good question. I get asked a lot, and I don't know the answer. You could go in as a walk-on, I think, but once you can even practice as a walk-on, but once you hit the field as a player, you've got to be a scholarship player, has always been my understanding. That's the way it's been for years and years and years.
But you know what that reminds me of? And it's a weird reminder, but as dominant as Bo was talking about Nebraska, what Nebraska did that was so well is that they owned the state of Nebraska. That's where they got their big offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and the counties, each county would give a kid a scholarship. So their walk-ons would be starting, and the county that they came from to support the University of Nebraska would pay for their school so that they didn't have to waste a scholarship, which is why Nebraska could go and get a Frazier from New Jersey. You know, that's why they could go get those guys. They had D1 type guys that were walk-ons because
no wonder their walk-on program was so famous, right? But well, it's kind of like going back to even like when Ricky Williams came in. Everybody's like, "Well, just put him on baseball scholarship." Well, you can't do that. Once he starts playing football, it has to be a football scholarship. So I don't know. Maybe it's true, Bo, and if I would think everybody's going to try to do that at some point if it is. But
that's why I was asking. Yeah, I don't know if maybe they are going to backfill it by having a kid transfer out or portaling out, and then all of a sudden they do have the room, and it's like one of those videos you see where a kid gets a scholarship in front of his teammates, except for when it's a guy like Cormac McLean who was a 5-star. They're not doing a ceremony in front of the teammates he just met last week at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, as Chance alluded to. But they give him the scholarship, and he's just deciding where to go. But the reason I was asking is because you are in that world, and maybe you'll ask the question and we can get the answer eventually, but they've got it. Like, there are no guardrails on NIL at this point, and I know at some point it will get put in, but that's something that if not, then they might as well disband the whole thing and let about the 10 programs that actually have the money and resources, because if not, then everybody will have every player as a NIL walk-on.
Yeah, that is crazy. This just handed to me, guys. Arch Manning is now a preferred. No, that's not true at all.
He's a Panini walk-on? Is that when you say PWO, he's a Panini-sponsored walk-on?
Yeah, right, exactly. There you go. Very good. Well done.
No, he's a Peyton-sponsored walk-on is what he is.
There you go. The Peyton's even better. The Peyton walk-on. That is Jason Sukamel. Jason, we appreciate the time. Best of luck getting that story rebuilt. That absolutely sucks. We hope the Coors Light helps, and thank you for joining the Outsiders tonight.
All right, appreciate you guys. Good seeing everybody. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
We'll do it. That is Jason Sukamel, and I would just like to say, for anybody who thinks that this show can't be professional, while that interview was happening, Chance Mock said, "You've got to manage your holes," and this face. That face and that face stayed stone cold, baby. That was as perfect. Now, if you go back and look at my eyes, I did this. We stayed.
I broke a little when Jason said there's only so many teenage asses I can kiss, and I was like, probably 0. Right? That's probably.
But the managing of the holes, we were fine with that. We were good with that.
Chad, it wasn't professionalism. If I'd have heard Chance say that and registered it, then I would have made a comment. But it just went phew right over my head. I did not hear this statement.
I was waiting, but it did not happen. Chance, before we get to the dick move of the week, let's talk about one of our great partners around here, and that is Prodigy Mortgage and your man Thad. Here he is.
My guy, Thad Lindsay, and his team over at Prodigy Mortgage. Look, it's that time of the year right now, okay? Rates contrary to what you hear all the time in the news, rates are kind of creeping their way down. And Thad and his team are going to work to get those rates where you need them. But right now is the time when you need to be looking, call your aunt, cousin, nephew, sister, brother, friend, neighbor, whatever, because everybody's a real estate agent. But you know what? They'll help you find a house. But the guy that's going to get you in the house, Thad Lindsay and his team, you need them to quarterback you down the field. You can put all the recruits you want with all the NIL money you want. You can pay your realtor all you want. They cannot get you in a house unless your funding comes through. And guess who does that? Thad and his crew. They are the best. It's the time. Okay. School is getting out. Summer's coming. You don't want to be moving in the heat of summer. I'm just telling you, I did that shit last year. It was terrible. Don't do it. Do it now. Get with Thad and his team. That way your family, y'all can get settled into the new house, spend the summer there, meet some friends. Then you go to the new school. Then you do it. Right now's the time. Call Thad and his team. They are buddies. They're like family. They love each other. Thad and his team at Prodigy Mortgage, right there. Scan that QR code. Give those guys a call. They will get your house closed. I'm telling you, you don't want to be the one who has to sleep on the couch because your wife is pissed because she found the home of her dreams and she's all excited. And then all of a sudden you've got a mortgage lender that just screws it up. That's just the worst. Don't deal with the worst. Deal with the best. You know what you don't want? You don't want a quarterback that fumbles the ball. Okay? You want Thad Lindsay and his team. So give him a call, or not give him a call. Give him a QR code right there and check them out. Go get that move done. Spend the summer in your new house. Probably got a pool in the backyard. You could use that, utilize it. You don't have to build it. It'll already be there. Give it Thad and his team. Prodigy Mortgage, they're the best.
All right. It is The Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. You knew who else is the best? This guy right here. He's the best. Dig. Roar! That's right. It's time for.
You gotta find a way to clip after he says dig, so we just get the raw, because that's so much better.
That is that was Bo Edge in the editing bay, and we'll figure that out. We've got Jason Dick ready for the Dick move of the week. Jason, what do we have this week, sir?
Chad, I want you to earmark the text there from CB, because I did want to talk about that as well. But this is a very personal Dick move of the week. All right, this is Dick move on Dick crime. I have now been a citizen of Manor, a Minorian, a Manorite. I'm not sure. It'll be 3 weeks on Friday. I love it out here. New house. It's great. It's tremendous. I have been pulled over 2 times. All right, since I moved here. I don't remember. Honestly, guys, I'm a pretty pussy ass driver. Okay, and I don't remember the last time I was pulled over. It's been like 10 years, and I've been pulled over 2 times. One of them was kind of my fault, but the second one, the other day, I'm just at a stop sign. I'm about to turn right. It's 4 or 5 o'clock. There's a decent amount of traffic. And I roll up to the stop sign. I look, there's some room. And so I pull out and I go. All right. There was nothing aggressive about what I did. And then the lights start flashing on me. And the guy pulls me over and he says, "Do you know what I pulled you over for?" And I was like, "I literally have no idea." And he says, "Well, you didn't come to a full stop back there. And also you did not signal." And I was like, who was I signaling to? All right. Who needed to know that I was going that direction? Also, there's a lot of traffic, all right? And there was room for me. So if I come to a full stop, I'm only adding to the problem, okay? I'm actually helping you. I'm alleviating traffic by rolling through this right turn at a stop sign. So the guy who pulled me over and gave me a warning, fine with that. Dick move, sir. Dick.
Hold on. No.
I'm throwing whatever flag I can freaking find.
That move of the week is you for chastising the guy who gave you a warning. And 2, if you're going to be the hipster freakazoid that's driving through Manor, the land of jacked up trucks in a freaking Tesla, you're going to get pulled over every gosh darn week.
He knew you were an Austin, right?
Is that it? Because I do. Yes, guys.
He's like, that's one of those dudes from Austin, right there.
I haven't had a real job in several years, all right, but I do drive a Tesla. And yeah, I was wondering if it's because now I'm out here in the country, and I think I'm in the country. It's not Manor PD, it's the Travis County Sheriff's Department who has pulled me over. They're profiling me? Get out of here, city boy.
Yeah. Go on social media. everything that they talk about that's happening in places and people are being changed and altered, they think that you're coming to their community to change and alter them. No, get a pickup truck, get it lifted up, get big tires, and you can do 100 down Main Street and people will wave at you.
Look,
like, hey, bud.
All you got to do is call our former co-host who only lasted a month, Mr.
He was
Abbott.
there a little longer than that.
Well, okay. But Mr. Abbott, call him.
Yeah.
Him and the people at Covert Ford are going to hook you up with a big-ass truck. You'll never be pulled. You can do 100 down those little roads. They're not going to pull you up. They're like, he's one of us. But right now, you're one of them.
That is
drive one of those trucks, borrow one of Chance's can of dip. When the cop walks up, pack your can, and like Chance when he was going into the fourth quarter, be like, "Hey, officer," and he'd be like, "Oh, Jason, how you doing today, sir? Do you need an escort to where you're going?" You do it in a Tesla with a busted out back window.
The window's fixed. All right, still a little hail damage, ribbed for her pleasure, but it is the window has been fixed. All right.
We have another dick move to get to, but before that, to what Chance was discussing, Covert Ford.
This is proud more than a Ford from Covert Ford of Austin. Deeply rooted in Texas history, the Covert family has taken great pride for over 114 years. That's why you can always depend on Covert Ford to deliver the best customer experience and a superior selection of new Ford vehicles. Shop online at covertford.com.
Yes,
Jason,
indeed.
I promise you, if you had made that illegal right turn in that truck, and then when the cop pulled you over, got out and did some stenciling on wood on the back of your tailgate, it wouldn't have even been a warning. It would have been, "Thank you for moving to our community, sir. Are you bringing a construction business with you?"
Yes, Thanks to the officer for that, for just giving Jason a warning. We do appreciate that. And also, Jason, if there's a lot of traffic, trying to make an argument that you shouldn't have put your blinker on is not going to work.
It's not the blinker. That was my bad, I guess. But it was the full stop thing. If I come to a full stop, I'm only worsening the traffic situation. All right.
Yeah.
If I can roll through, I'm efficiently driving. They should thank me.
This is what I think. I think each side had a little bit of dickness going on here. I think he was a bit of a dick for the stop thing, and you were a bit of the dick because you didn't signal with a bunch of traffic.
He gave you a warning and you called him a dick.
That's
true.
You're giving a war.
I retract my dick move because he did give me a warning, and I actually want to give kudos bonus points to the first cop who pulled me over because it was the same thing. He pulled me over. I was like, I had no idea what was going on, and he said, "This is a work zone. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour." And I was like, it did feel like I was going more than 30. He's like, "Do you know how fast you were going?" I said, "Nope." He said 71. And I said, that is considerably more than 30. He said, I could take you to jail for that. And I was like, dang, please don't take me to jail.
I'm not going to do well in jail, guys. I'm just not going to do well.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But I guess I should be happy that I'm 2 for 2 on just getting warnings. So you know what? Retracted dick move. My bad.
I was going to say yes.
Listeners of the Outsiders. That's what it is. They didn't tell you, but because of your affiliation with Orange Bloods and the Outsiders, you got out of tickets.
So we've had our first dick move retraction. Let's see what Jason thinks of this one. Chris Bennett says dick move of the week should be Tom Brady, now saying he regrets doing the Netflix roast.
Did you guys see this? There's a story today that he is upset or he wouldn't do it again because of the effect it had on his children.
Why are children watching it?
Well, I would just say, Tom Brady, have you ever seen a roast before? Like, nothing is off limits. I'm surprised that they didn't go harder on him. Something about how he definitely loves his Giselle children more than the other one. And so I thought I thought it was fine. And him to say afterwards, I wouldn't do it again. I didn't know that was going to happen.
I think it's such chicken shit, Jason, for him to say, I wouldn't do it because of how it affected my children. Have you been to an NFL game and heard how they talk about other players? Are you telling me your kids never went to a game and watched you, or that there weren't kids in school that talk shit to your kids because of the way you played on Sunday or any? Really? That's what you're worried about your kids hearing?
And by the by, now you're going to go be an NFL TV announcer for $20 million a year. If you really gave that much of a damn, you got enough money. You have everything you need. Go live on an island and be quiet. If you're going to be a public figure in that regard, like, it goes with the territory.
It was so good. If anybody didn't watch it, please go watch it because it was absolutely, what's her name? Nicole Glazer?
Nikki Glazer was hilarious.
Yeah, it's a little long, but she was legendary.
Oh, her FTX joke about Brady and crypto, and even Gronk knows crypto is not real money. I fell out of my chair laughing.
He did too.
Yeah, because he knows it's true. He's like, I told Tom no because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, the fact that it was on Netflix should have told him. Basically, this was like, Mama got mad. Apparently, Giselle got upset. The kids were a little confused by something about whatever they heard because they were hearing a lot of stuff.
It was the Pilates trainer.
They were hearing a lot of stuff about the trainer and Giselle and all these different things. But, man, you got to know. You got to know. He took like, what did it, 25 million to do it or whatever the number was, right? Once you agree to that number, and then you see what it's going to be. Kevin Hart was amazing, but ruthless. Nikki Glazer is present. She'll be ruthless. Jeff Ross is always ruthless. Like, watch film. This is the one time Tom Brady should have watched film. There's tons of it. There's tons of film with those people saying the most horrific things. And Jason, that was Comedy Central. Netflix, you can dial it up even more.
Right. Also, nice try trying to get me to feel sorry for your kids, Tom Brady.
But here's the other question. When you sign up for a roast, the most beautiful part about a roast is that at the end, you're like the defense lawyer. You get the closing argument. You get the microphone to rip them a new one afterwards. Yeah. I'm sorry that your comebacks weren't quite as funny as everybody else's shit that they said to you. Who gives a damn? Like, this whole story frustrates me. You're Tom Brady. You got paid more than most people will ever make in a lifetime to do this deal. You knew what a roast was. Don't act like you're an idiot. You knew what it was. And by the way, Giselle did leave you for her trainer. So I don't care if she got upset about it. Like, she can pound sand for all I give a flying.
The only thing that I regret about that roast is they didn't give Greg Olson a mic and 10 minutes to have fun roasting Tom Brady since Brady stole his damn job. Now, that's something I would have wanted to see was Greg Olson with his long blonde flowing locks. That would have
got personal though, dude.
Yeah, it would have been great. It would have been absolutely great.
But it would have gotten personal, and it's not funny when it's personal. That's why Kevin Hart was so great. That's why Nikki Glazer was so great. That's why Jeff Ross is great at what he does and what he did on Comedy Central, because it's not personal. It's just pointing out the obvious that's freaking hilarious to everybody, and it's not personal. It's not, I'm trying to tear you down.
The only one that was like, laugh, don't laugh, I don't care. Edelman just wasn't that funny. Like, I don't care about the content with the Hernandez. It just wasn't funny.
He looked like he was trying too hard to me.
He looked like he was drunk coming straight from the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, he was that.
He was on a private jet in Kentucky.
Well, Danny, my buddy Danny was there.
Amendola.
Yeah.
And I saw Amendola. Yeah. I saw him there. Yeah, that was.
They all go to the Derby with Walker like they usually do.
Yes,
that's a sober trip.
That is a 3-hour event on Netflix if you want to check it out. Speaking of Tom Brady, we can talk about his new job a little bit. We can also talk about that league he used to play in. We'll take a look at the 3 teams in the NFL that matter to the outsiders coming up here because the NFL schedules are out. But before we do that, Jason is going to tell you about his favorite golf course on earth and how damn good he is.
I don't know about that. How good the course is, 100%. The golf club at Star Ranch, as Chad said, is my favorite place to play. I got a real problem, guys. I play too much. I play way too much golf for an unemployed man. One of my favorite place to go is the golf club at Star Ranch. Always in perfect condition. We're about to get into the summer super hot months. It's going to be great. It's going to be lush. The greens are going to run true. Throughout the winter, it was so good. I don't know what's going on out there. Well, maybe you know about this, but some of the other places I frequent, the greens appear to have they've gotten some sort of herpes or syphilis. I don't know what's going on there, but there's some ugly looking greens out there, and it's not happening at the golf club at Star Ranch. They are running true, and it's a great course because it's fun. Okay, you can score there, some really fun layouts, really fun holes. If you're a good golfer, birdie is available, eagle available, and if you're not so good, you're going to have fun at the golf club at Star Ranch. Great place for tournaments as well. Scan the QR code right there, or call 252-GOLF to set your tee time. The golf club at Star Ranch.
Jason, that is an apt description of herpes.
What is going on? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's some of the nicer places.
All of it links back to the freezes the last couple of years. Like, if they didn't prepare for it and things, when the weather goes like this and it's hot and cold and they had those freezes, the greens can develop a fungus. That's why they had to shut down Kaiser and Clay. Or I guess they didn't shut them down. They're on temporary greens. Like, if they didn't handle it correctly, and I've seen it happen when I was at River Place, it almost happened where you did everything right, and it just you didn't time it out, and the freeze didn't do what it was supposed to do, and then the heat and the humidity, it causes, honestly, a mold or a fungus to get in the underlayer of the grass, and it kills the grass. And if you don't catch it, then you have to rebuild the green complex, which means you have to scrape the whole thing down to the dirt and replant it from start.
You can't just go down to the student services building, take a couple of pills, and then you clear up in a couple of days. That's what that's
not how it works.
I never thought on the outsider that I'd get a full explanation of how green herpes work.
We just had the words herpes and horticulture get used in the same little stanza.
Bo took it and went like full blown. I'm going to tell you how it really works.
And some guy on the chat line named John Horney says, "Don't mess with golf herpes." This is the outsiders, everyone. This is what you get.
This is what happens. This is true. Before we talk about those NFL schedules, I will remind you, because Chance knows it's true, when the Buffalo Bills logo jumps over the rabbit, it's time to hear from Specs.
Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
There he is right there. There he is, jumping over the rabbit. So cute. All right. They're so cute at that age. All right, gentlemen, let's go NFL and take a look at our teams. We will start with Chance's Buffalo Bills, if that's okay with everybody, or really even if it's not, because we're going to start with them. Chance, this is the beginning of your team's schedule. Do you have any thoughts for us? Arizona, at Miami, and Jacksonville to start off. What do you like here?
All right, so can I tell you, first of all, before we get into the Bills schedule, and I'm going to take 12 seconds to say this, it was hilarious today that the Chargers they released their schedule in Pop-Tarts, which was freaking hilarious because what they put for Arizona was the Pop-Tart minis because of Kyler Murray, which was fucking hysterical.
Wow.
And I love that. So the one thing about the schedule that sticks out that is really, when you play in the AFC East, you play in Buffalo, New York, New England, and Miami. The one advantage Miami has in any single game early in the season is that heat. And they put that game at 7:15. But they did pay them back, and they gave them an earlier game. They didn't put them in January like they normally do in Buffalo, but the one thing I keep seeing, I didn't think they were going to do this, was the back-to-back Baltimore and Houston on the road both times. That is freaking gauntlet. That's tough right there.
That's rude.
That you shouldn't do that. The other thing, when you scroll down, if you scroll down a little bit there, Chad, is it's very interesting. The NFL, that San Francisco game is, I think, the one that Cash and I are going to go to. But I hate when the NFL does this. New England twice in 3 weeks to end the season. Now, I think that's a gift to Buffalo because New England, and let's go back to the Chargers, their Pop-Tarts, when they showed that they were playing New England, was an empty box of Pop-Tarts because that's what New England is right now.
Wow.
So the Bills did get a little bit of a reprieve there coming off of that game with San Francisco. The Rams are what they are, but then you got to go to Detroit, which is tough.
Yeah.
And then you got that 3-game AFC East stretch at the end. So I love the schedule. The only thing that I wish we could have done, I wish we played Houston on opening weekend. Like, I thought that would have been fun because it would have really, if you weren't going to put Kansas City, because you weren't going to put Kansas City there because they aren't playing the Texans this year. So to have the kind of one of the existing top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL go against one of the younger new guys, I thought that would have been a really cool story to start, especially with the moves, with Diggs being there, with, everything. I thought it made a lot of sense. So I was a little surprised that they didn't open the season with Houston and Buffalo, but otherwise, as hard as that schedule actually is with the teams that we play, I think the NFL was really soft on Buffalo.
Now, I was about to say that schedule doesn't look as tough as it could be.
No, when you looked at who their opponents were going to be, you went, oh, God, this could be a freaking gauntlet. And the NFL didn't do that. And we've only got 5 primetime games. We had 7 last year, which was rough because it throws everything off. You're playing Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night. Like, nothing is in play. We played in England last year. So I'm very happy with the way the schedule turned out this year.
It's weird. A weird thing the NFL does, and I think they might be doing it on purpose, but it looks like Buffalo starts with 4 out of 6 on the road, and I think 5 out of 8. Buffalo, never been there, but from the looks of it on TV, is sheer misery starting October 15th?
Mid-November.
Shouldn't you front some games where you play at Buffalo in September, in October, when it's going to be not terrible? But no, I know they want to see the snow. Okay, they want it, but then you wind up moving games because of lake snow effect. What is that thing?
It is lake snow effect. Yes.
Yeah, I would just say you should play like they're playing at Miami in week 2. Play that game in Buffalo. Play Miami in Miami later.
Chance, are you going to the game in Houston, Chance?
Yeah, I actually have a sweet ticket for that one.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Hey, Chance, have you been able to confirm our former Bills and Longhorns great guest for next week?
Yes, we've been texting all day, and and I am going to have to bring my little man Cash on the show when he's on, because he did announce the draft pick of Keon Coleman, who was Cash's dude. So Cash wants to say hello to Aaron, so I'll make sure that happens.
So next week, Outsider Nation, former, even though he went to McNeil, we're going to say Round Rock legend, All-American Aaron Williams will be on the show.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Bo, let's take a look at your Tennessee Titans for next season. The Titans also play the Texans. Let's find that one down there Sunday in November at Houston. Are you going to that Houston game, Bo?
I'm not a masochist, okay? I don't need to go watch my team get killed by C.J. Stroud and his band of merry men.
Okay. But what do you like
Titans
about the
aren't very good. The only solace I can take is we did get T'Vondre Sweat, and I like him. But let's be real. We're rolling into the season with a Tony Pollard, Will Levis backfield. Let that sink into your head and think, does that scream championship caliber?
Dude,
no.
At Buffalo, at Detroit, back to back.
Well,
that's brutal.
It doesn't matter. We can beat New England. We might be able to beat Jacksonville at home. This is a 4 or 5 win team. I'm going to root for them every week, but I wouldn't bet $1 on them. But Chance, you were talking about the Pop-Tart video. It seems like every team was doing this, and if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, which I haven't gotten to get all the way down, go watch the team videos. The Chicago Bears did one that was a remake of all the movies from the 80s, and they had DJ Moore dressed up as Ferris Bueller, and it was literally him. But they did Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, 16 Candles as they were dismissing all the teams. And you know that girl, Annie Agar, the big, they had her in a Packers gear, and they had a defensive lineman throw her into detention and go, do you want some more? Do you want another detention? And she's playing along with it. Like, they did it well. And, Tennessee did theirs where they interviewed drunken people on Broadway and showed them the logo, like, the skits they do. And like, do you know who this team is? And, the Colts always get called the Cowboys and, all the things that happen. It was kind of funny. But there are some pretty funny ones out there. I haven't seen the Pop-Tart one, though.
You got to see the Pop-Tart one. It is so good.
Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, since Jason and I both care about those Cowboys and everybody else.
Big one right there, Chad. That very first one.
And everybody else just loves to laugh. That first one, Chance, is history because that's the first Tom Brady game right there.
There it is. Wow. That is the first Tom Brady announced game.
Yep, right there. That will be the very first one.
Do you think Jerry Jones goes and asks Deshaun Watson for some notes on the best massage parlors in Cleveland for the week that he's there?
Oh, jeez. Probably. The Cowboy, Jason, I've taken a kind of a glancing look here. What has jumped out to you on the Cowboys schedule?
It's somehow ranked the 12th strength of schedule, even though they have to play Cincinnati, Detroit, Baltimore. They play at San Francisco. Mm-hmm. I guess that ranking is probably thanks to the Commanders and Giants, who are absolutely terrible. They get to
Panthers.
Twice. Yeah.
Right.
But that one right there at Philadelphia, week 17 is probably going to have some big NFC East implications. But my favorite game, if you scroll back up a little, there it is, November 18th, Monday Night Football versus the Houston Texans. The new hotness here in Texas. Everybody loves those Texans. I got all these Texans fans in my life talking about how they're the big brother now. We're gonna go show CJ Stroud how things are done.
Well, yeah, interesting. All three of these teams we look at tonight are playing Houston. Two of them go to Houston, and the Cowboys.
Will Dak Prescott even be starting at that point, or will they have already moved on to Plan B?
How dare you? Is right. How dare you,
Jason? Outside of the Cowboys, there's nobody that's the weakness of the NFC is the reason that the strength of schedule is 12 because their AFC opponents are freaking tough. But the weakness of the NFC schedule is that's why it's drugged down. I mean, you look at, so you're going to play in NFC South with New Orleans. Okay. They can barely walk, talk, chew gum. You got the Giants, which are a freaking train wreck. Obviously, Detroit is in San Francisco are what they are, but Atlanta, train wreck. Philly, that's your conference. Washington, Jesus Christ. Giants, again. Carolina. Oh, by the way, the Carolina Panthers are playing the Chargers, and the Pop-Tart that they showed for them was that Pop-Tart from the bowl game that looks like a cake that was half eaten.
The edible trophy?
Yes.
Wow.
But that's the whole Tampa Bay. I mean, that's the problem. The NFC is so weak compared to what the AFC is that, I mean, Dallas, San Francisco, and Detroit should really have their way with the NFC this year in all actuality.
I think you're dismissing Green Bay there. I think Green Bay is getting better. I think the NFC is top heavy though. There's 4 or 5 teams that can go, and everyone else is crap. Whereas in the AFC, there's about 10 teams that can go, but their bottom is really bad. I know my team is one of those in the bottom, in the Titans. like that bottom of the AFC is really bad, but they're not top heavy. The NFC is 3 or 4 really great teams, and then 8 okay teams. In that group of 8, there will be 2 teams that become playoff teams that are just okay. If you told me today that the Falcons were going to make the playoffs, I'd believe it. In that division, if Kirk Cousins is healthy with the skill position players, are they a great team? No, but they got to compete against the Saints and the Bucks.
You're telling me that our 8th overall pick, Michael Penix Jr., is not going to start week 1, Bo? What?
He might be starting by the time the Cowboys go there in November. My thing is that the 4 out of 5 road games there, the bye week is in there, but 4 out of 5 games, a couple of them are reasonable, but a lot of road stuff there for the Cowboys in October. But the schedules are out if you want to check them out, NFL.com or wherever you get your stuff.
Am I the only one on here, though, that's a goober about the schedules? I don't know why. I think they're so fun because you realize there's a committee that sits there. I mean, this is such a process. Number one, they're trying to forecast who's going to be in the playoffs. So you're also keeping teams together so that you can have tiebreaker type scenarios where you're not having to go, where they played once during the season and where are these guys playing? And okay, this might be a good matchup. Do we want to put this towards the end of the season because we're attempting to decide a divisional series, who's going to be the divisional champion, playoff stuff. There's so much thought that goes into the schedule. It's absolutely fascinating.
And if you think that they're not playing favorites, you're out of your mind.
They 100% are.
Yeah. Google Warren Sharp rest advantage. If you don't know who he is, he's a super gambling guru. The Cowboys every year have like one of the best rest advantages, basically how much time you have to play, because they have to play the Thanksgiving game, but then they get an extra rest there. I don't know how the formula works, but I saw it. Maybe it's a Jerry flex. They have to go to San Francisco, but it's after the bye week. Like if you were going to pick any game on the schedule to put after the bye week, you would put at San Francisco.
Well,
so you mean the fact that Jacksonville gets set to back-to-backs in Germany?
Yes.
And England? Yeah. You think that would happen to Dallas? No, there is a hierarchy, but the only thing the NFL can control is the placement, because the schedules are set by formulas at this point.
Right. But
the placement of the games matters. But if you win your conference, you're playing the other 5 conference champs. You're playing the other 3 teams in your division, and you're playing one other division they already know where it's going 8 years from now.
They can pull all these strings with the time off and such.
But Bo, to your point, because you made the point when we were looking at the Bills' schedule, the NFL, I don't care what anybody says, the NFL wants Josh Allen to win a Super Bowl. They want the Bill, or at least to be in one. It's very marketable. You can make that. You made that assessment last year when he did the Paramount deal with Romo and that whole deal. They want him to win one. When they came out with the Bills' opponents, I went, oh my God, this is going to be a freaking gauntlet. But somehow or another, they maneuvered that schedule into the best possible scenario the Bills could be in to be successful with the schedule that the algorithm came up with.
I agree. And yes, I do think Josh is that guy. But I'll tell you this, another year that he doesn't deliver on it, there's a couple guys. C.J. Stroud will take his spot. Lamar Jackson is – if Lamar Jackson, once he got through the holdout thing, if Lamar can stay healthy, what is that?
I don't know. Is that you hitting a mic? Sounds like somebody's hitting a microphone.
I don't know. Lamar Jackson is the next guy they're going to want to prop up because he is so electric. Like, you only get a limited window where you're the it guy. If you don't deliver, they'll find a new it guy.
So, question, did they ever find a new it guy? How old was Peyton when he won his first Super Bowl?
That would have been his 5th year in the league, 6th year.
He was 29.
Yeah, but he was also a 4-year starter at Tennessee. He was 23 when he came, or 22 when he came to the league.
I get it. I'm just saying the league is more patient than you think. I think the guy is marketable, and for whatever reason, the league. I'm not saying it. This is me not saying it as a Buffalo fan. For whatever reason, the league loves him.
No, and the league loves the. I'm not arguing the point. The league loves the rivalry. Just like with Peyton, the thing that kept Peyton relevant, besides just being a Manning, was he was dueling with Tom Brady, who was already becoming that star. They loved the Brady-Manning go like this. Well, right now it's Mahomes and Allen. What I'm saying is if, and it's an if, but if Herbert under Harbaugh, or if Stroud, or if Lamar Jackson, whoever beats Mahomes first gets that mantle for the next 5 years. Whoever beats Mahomes and goes to a Super Bowl is now the new it guy. It can be Josh, but it better happen quick.
Hey, just go ahead and bookmark this, and whatever time tape this is on May, what are we on, 15th?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever day that is, let's bookmark it. I'm going to tell you right now, Herbert's numbers are going to go down. His efficiency may go up. His numbers are going to go down. So who did Harbaugh draft?
Run the ball.
That's what they do. That's what he did at San Francisco. It's what he did at Stanford. It's what he did at Michigan.
Numbers may go down, but there is one number that I think will go up, and it may not be this year, but it will be over the next 3 years. His win total will start going up. His ability to go to the playoffs and not shit the bed will go up. Like, there's a difference between having Staley as your coach and Harbaugh. Like, they're not going to go for it on 4th and 7 half the time in the middle of a game when they don't need to. Like,
Staley is a maniac. You're absolutely right about that.
I'm just like, and the other thing I know is Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill will never be part of that in-quarterback club that has to worry about.
What?
We did get one Thursday night wasteland game against, like, I don't know who.
I think the XFL kicks off next year. If you're ready, Ryan Tannehill.
There's a lot of Prime Video to cover there, Bo, on Thursday nights. All right, before we head towards the door, gentlemen, Bo, let's tell them about the Cajun stuff because it is that time of year.
It is. If you like the delicacy known as crawfish, 'tis the season. Get it while you can, and it's good now. Now they're using the wild caught crawfish. It's not frozen stuff. It's really, really good. Next few weeks is prime boil season. So if you're doing it yourself, you call Stuffed. If not, you call my next door neighbor and Hoodoo Crawfish because they will come out and cater your event with delectable crawfish. But if you're doing it yourself, Stuffed Cajun Meat Market, they have all the supplies. They have the 9 kinds of sausage. They have pre-made etouffee that is so good. They have gumbo, whatever you want, Cajun style. It's Stuffed Cajun Meat Market.
Meat pie. Thank you to Stuffed, one of the great
I heard
partners.
nothing about sacks.
For the outsiders. What was that?
I heard nothing about sacks in that entire commercial.
Well,
Nobody's grabbing
crawfish
sacks.
come in 30 or 40 pound sacks. And if
can
you
grab your
are so
sack.
busy, you can go watch last week's show. I'm sure I mentioned it.
At some
Because
point.
you need a refresher anyway, because Lord knows you can't remember half of last week's show after the Four Loco.
No,
rotted
I
your
can't.
brain.
And I will never. You know what though? Four Loco will never be a sponsor on this show because I will never endorse anything that they put out on the shelf because it is like awful.
No, like I said, you do not piss excellence when you drink a Four Loco.
I think that's the intended effect, though, boys. I think that's what they designed it for.
They had to have designed it for homeless people, where they only need to drink one and then they pass out.
Do you want to wake up in a ditch tomorrow? Four Loco.
Yes.
Yeah. If I can get the okay from Chance and I get the time to go back and edit and grab it, man, the Mach 5 Four Loco transition was something. It really was.
We're gonna leave that in the past. Is
Yeah,
what we're gonna do. Because
that's what I figured.
Number one, I had zero idea that Four Loco had that power. Like, I mean, I'm a Viking. I can drink. Bo knows I can put down.
Yeah.
That whatever was in that. Oh my God, that was awful.
That was something else. That was a whole different deal. Kids, be careful.
Oh, I got multiple texts from people saying, "What is he doing?"
Yes, be careful if you're out there with the Four Loco.
Four Loko.
Please be careful. All right. Also, we'll remind you one more time. It is The Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho, PonchoOutdoors.com. In fact, you know what? I saw these earlier tonight as I was getting ready, and we have not seen these. What about Big Colt? Huh? What about Big Colt? There he is. Ooh. What about Colt in a vehicle? Well, there's Colt in a vehicle. I still wonder who that other guy is, although he looks terrified. I'm sure Colt's a good driver, though. PonchoOutdoors.com is where you go for all of those great shirts. Again, I'm going to be wearing one to that graduation ceremony this week and getting more compliments. You're going to love the quality. You're going to love all the colors and the designs. And Bo's got a long sleeve on tonight. They got the short sleeves. They got the hoodies. They've got the crews, the T-shirts, the hats.
I was going to ask about that hat. I like that hat, Bo.
Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
the new Poncho hat. It's they got a lot of these.
That is good stuff. All right. Thank you to Colt and to all the other models at Poncho for helping us out. And thanks to all of you for jumping in. Up over 500 folks in the Specs chat as we get ready to close the door. We appreciate you. Remember, like, subscribe, get your notifications. In the last week, the subscriber number at Orange Bloods Live went over 19,000. That's right. 19,000 subscribers. And just so I can make sure we do this on The Outsiders, I made up a little graphic for that with a little firework and 7 hook'em emojis. That's your 7 hook'em emoji salute right there. It's 19,000 plus subscribers.
Before we pull the plug, I got one more announcement to make. I want to wish a happy birthday on Saturday to my lovely wife who puts up with all my dumbassery. Chance knows how this works. My wife's birthday is on Saturday, so happy birthday, Jenny.
Yeah, happy birthday to Bo's wife. Hey, happy birthday to Jeff Ketchum tomorrow. I'd forgotten about it until we mentioned it
big
this
boss
week.
man.
Ketch has a birthday. The boss's birthday is tomorrow, so we'll have to give him all kinds of hell tomorrow during House Divided at noon. I'm sure he'll be working hard as always, even on his birthday. Thank you for supporting us here at Orange Bloods Live. And another reminder we've been throwing out this week, if you are interested in advertising with Orange Bloods, like maybe SEC Media Days coming up in July, things like that, you can reach out to Cody. You can reach out to Sonny. If you want to check into some stuff on the website, orangebloods.com, or something on Orange Bloods Live, or
For this
like I said,
show.
or if you want to do something with the Outsiders, you do something with the Outsiders. You want to help us get to Dallas? We're trying to figure out a way to get to Dallas with all those crazy SEC people. Maybe you help us there as well. All right, that's it. We are the Outsiders. Jason's in Manor now, getting pulled over by random cops. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. He doesn't use his blinker or anything. Oh, and look at that. Perfect timing, Chance, because this is the week of the Westminster Dog Show. So let's get a close-up here. Let's get a close-up of Best in Show. Look at my man right there.
Hey,
Look at Stevie. Look at Stevie. What's up, Stevie?
Hook those ears up, Stevie. What is this noise?
Oh, TV. Look at that face.
His earbuds. He can't hear what's going on.
Is that a ghost?
Look at that face. What a beautiful dog. Love that stuff. Yes, Westminster. Damn poodle took the thing for you poodle people. A poodle got Best in Show once again. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Let me scan that chat real quick. Make sure like Chris Bennett didn't throw us $100 at the end. No, but Morgan just gives us a big woohoo. Woohoo right back to you, Morgan. Y'all have a good week. We will talk to you next Wednesday night at 8:30 for another What Are You Drinking Wednesday on The Outsiders. Y'all take care. We are The Outsiders, and we are legitimate.